Welcome everyone to Sysco Canada's Virtual Kitchen. I'm Jay Ashton, Business Resource and Brand Activation Manager for Canada for Sysco. We got a great show here today, and I'm very excited to bring in these folks here in a second as we talk a little bit today about the golf course industry and what's happening in golf courses for this year, and also how Cardinal's sponsoring today's show, as you saw there. We've got a great product line, Safe Sous Vide, and we have Andrea Nicholson back, and one of my favorite chefs. She's going to talk a little bit about how it applies and where you can apply it within your golf F&B business for what you're doing or your program. So we're excited. I'm going to bring them in. We're going to talk a little golf. We're going to get into some food, maybe some cool commercials, but it's going to be a great next few minutes with us, and I hope you can enjoy and get something out of it for your business and for golf courses. So welcome to the show, Andrea and John.
Hey, Jay.
So we're going to get right into it. I like jumping right into the conversations because I love chatting about and learning more, and I'm learning all the time from everyone that we have on the show. But John, you're the manager of, I'm going to say this hopefully right, Cooper Creek Golf Group?
No, you didn't.
No, I didn't say that right?
It's the Copper Creek Golf Group. It's all good.
Hey, there we go. I was close.
No, it's not bad.
Anyways, well, thanks, John. Thanks again for joining us. Andrea, you're the spokesperson for Cardinal Safe Sous Vide product line, also a rock star in the industry.
Old hack.
Thanks again for seeing you. I'm excited to have you back, and we're going to have a great chat today.
Yes, and I'm learning lots about golf, which is and I can't wait to get out on the green. I said that right? Green, not field.
You guys just run. You run with it. We'll try it. We'll do our best.
I know food. Golf. I know.
That's fair.
That's awesome. So John, let's chat a little bit about these challenges that have been up, that you've been dealing with in this industry over this last year. So what are some of those challenges right now when it comes to F&B, especially?
I think the biggest challenge is just what our restrictions are going to be on any given day. We've had to adjust to like all restaurant outlets, but we have the ability, the golf course, we're anticipating another very busy year, which we're very fortunate to have. So with those restrictions on numbers, how do you take care of them in your restaurant? We also have a halfway outlet. We try to keep people spaced out, at least with golf. I mean, it's designed to keep people separated and safe outside, but they still want to have their food. They still want to have a beer or something like that. And having people wait around in lineups is always an issue with takeout outlets. So we've had to kind of really design our menu around what can we produce of a high quality and also get out to people as quickly as possible. So we've adjusted. We're fortunate enough to have our golf carts have an on-screen ordering system. So we've designed it where people can put in an order on the 9th tee. Our halfway house is at the end of the 9th hole. And so those orders will go in, they come, they pay. If they're not ready, we even have a delivery system where we'll take that to you, just to keep people moving so that there's not groups of foursomes waiting for their food. The one thing that we've been able to do over the COVID era is increase the quality of the food from these outlets. It used to be a little bit more like a food truck, sort of takeout sandwich, egg salad, tuna, but now we're doing some more a la minute preparations, putting rapini and caramelized onions on a sausage sandwich, grilled paninis, stuff like that. That take a little bit longer. So we've adjusted to try and keep the flow of traffic going and getting a really nice product out to the golfers.
So John, you talk a little bit, when you talk about like the halfway house especially, what are some of the challenges when it comes to cooking equipment that you have in your clubhouse or definitely in the halfway house?
I think the biggest challenge is space. So normally those are very small. Maybe I think ours might be a 10 by 10 room, and you've got a grill in there, a fridge, a wash sink, another sink, and a counter. So space is quite tight. So there's also a safety concern, obviously, if you get too many people in there bumping into each other. So we've had to make it a two-person system, one working the cash and giving out drinks, one person preparing the food. And we're very fortunate at Copper Creek because our halfway house is attached to our main kitchen. So since there's been so many restrictions on what we can do with restaurants and events, the halfway preparation is extended into our halfway kit or into our main kitchen. So the preparation is expanded, and we've been able to keep up with it. But in normal times, we're going to need to adapt, and we're always looking to expand our options, find a safer option, whatever we can do to still get that product out in a timely manner and safe, obviously.
Now, Andrea, you're seeing some of these similar within the industry as well, right?
You know, the more stories I hear, the more friends I speak to, you know, talking to John about this, there's a common thread that runs through all of it, whether it be a banquet facility, a catering facility, a restaurant like myself, you know, quick serve. We've all had to sort of figure out new ways, integrate new technology, figure out faster, better, more efficient ways. And so, like, he's totally speaking my language, because everything that he just mentioned are struggles that I've had to sort of sort out within Butchie's and how we operate with, you know, fast, speed, efficiency, because COVID has added this layer of logistics that most restaurateurs or people in hospitality weren't typically used to. Yeah, we're used to fast pace, putting out really beautiful food, but it's transitioned to fast pace, putting out cost effective, still delicious food. And that's been the struggle. So how do we integrate, you know, a sit down menu into a takeout box, but still generate that revenue and still have the customers perceive us as being the same? So it's such a struggle. And John is speaking now because we all are in the same boat. So we totally understand, you know, and the one benefit with Cardinal Safe Sous Vide, and especially when you're talking about that halfway house with small, tight, confined space, is that the sous vide products from Cardinal, they're so efficient in their packaging, and they're, you know, shelf stable for 30 days inside of a walk-in. So that really eliminates a lot of things. It eliminates labor, it eliminates space, it eliminates all those time wasting, you know, elements that are put into our margins, which eat us away and, you know, which cause us a lot of stress. So you're totally speaking my language right now, John.
So the other thing I want to ask both of you, definitely John, because I think this is probably a new area for golf courses, is take home products or delivery or HMRs. Is that, John, are you seeing a lot of that? Are you guys testing that when it comes to take home? Because I think Safe Sous Vide is going to be perfect for that.
Yeah, it sounds like it's going to be a perfect mix. We are, as everybody is, takeout is the way to go. And even with our halfway house, we've toyed with the idea, and we've been at our halfway house now, because events have shut down. Our best chefs are actually working the halfway house, so it's not normal, but it's nothing that we can go back. We can't backtrack. So we're going to have to offer this kind of quality all the time. So whether they've shot themselves in the foot or raised the bar, we're in a pretty good position. But what we have seen is the request for people to, when they're finishing their round, sort of on 18, we're going to dabble in the idea of them being able to order a takeout dinner for their family. And rather than have to take another stop home, grab a pizza or do whatever, if they can do it right at the end of their round, take it home to the family, and we'll be able to offer more of a menu mix for them that's not just lunch oriented. So that's something we're now that we've learned from last year, and we get used to the volume, and we've kind of adapted to the on-course. Now we're making a shift towards, it looks like we'll be able to open our restaurant earlier than we were last year. Mm-hmm. And we'll be able to adapt to that takeout. And we were talking earlier offline about the innovation in takeout containers, and it's just the presentation alone. So you're just not slapping things into a foam container anymore. You're still able to, presentation still means a lot in certain places, and especially with our reputation too for what we do on our banquet side. So if we can translate that into a takeout order too, it just further solidifies our reputation as trying to really take care of the customer. So it's something we're going to really take a hard look at trying to capture that that golfer coming off the 18th green.
Yeah, and creating that amazing experience for them.
Sure.
You want to continue that thread from the game that they had to the food they take it home. It's all so important. It all connects. Now, Andrea, you're a takeout pro now.
Yeah, yes. I would say yes.
I always want to ask, what's some of the key things you've learned over this year on the takeout world? What's some of those things that you really picked out?
Accessibility, number one. When COVID first hit, we didn't really have an online ordering presence other than our third parties, which for me, I'm a big advocate on third parties. They've been massive to my business. Skip, Uber, DoorDash. Yes, they take a big margin, but that's, I think, a whole other SVK video. But it was to target our customers directly and how to do that. So I quickly realized that, our smartphone is the thing that's illuminating our face 90% of the day. So how do we get our ordering directly to the customer through our phone? So we quickly went to an app service where, we had some struggles at the beginning. We went with a couple companies that just weren't sort of getting our shtick, especially with quick serve, because Butchie's is a QSR. So it's quick serve. So essentially, we have to have people in and out in like a 17-minute window. And how can we do that with an app that can understand flow and rhythm in a restaurant, where it's, an order has to be punched in 15 minutes, but then out in 20. And it was hard to find vendors who understood the restaurant business. We found one now. We had to switch our POS system as well to get more integrated with online ordering, because takeout has added a layer of staff to my business. Like, our labor costs have gone up just because of the logistics of it all. Yes, they're online platforms, but it still needs a human to make sure that the orders are correct. There's no mistakes. It's packaged correctly. Talking about takeout containers, one plate of food in my restaurant is now 2 or 3 boxes or small vessels. So the logistics of, packaging it properly has been a really big learning curve. So yeah, there's a lot in terms of the logistics was the hardest part of it. And then that layer of training your staff as well, because we were used to doing one thing consistently. And now we've flipped it upside down, and our service now is like 5 different elements. There's Skip and DoorDash. There's customers coming in who've purchased, and the biggest benefit for us is putting an online platform where customers can order and pay and check out all in one. So they're eliminating that extra step in the restaurant. So they're not coming in, having to pay again, and then leaving. I've already paid. Perfect. Here's your food. Thanks. Bye. Yeah. That's been super handy and efficient for us, and it's allowed us just to do more covers and more bodies and feel less frantic inside of the restaurant. Don't get me wrong. It's been a hustle, and my staff are exhausted at the end of the day. Numbers can be the same, but it still feels like we've done double. So it's hard. Yeah, it's hard.
Say, like, from a consumer part, I love paying before and grabbing my product. I'm having to do that there. Something about it, I just like that. It feels like, you see some corporate chains are calling it like valet service. It feels like that. It's got a very nice touch. You go up, it's already paid, it's gone. I'm out of the place and off I go.
It makes sense for a cleaner service, for sure.
It definitely does. Now, do you believe that this will continue as you open up? Are you going to continue the whole takeout?
Oh yeah, world? I'm not changing a thing. It's actually all restaurants are different. And that's a problem with a lot of restaurateurs, is that they think that their restaurant can fit into this perfect little box and follow that same system and that same rhythm. Well, it doesn't work like that. Customers are different, menus are different, graphics are different. So for us, I'm not changing the model. It's actually made me even consider, do I need a dining room anymore? This is for my specific restaurant, right? In the QSR model. So do we need a dining room when we're already so seamless with this sort of takeout? So I'm not changing a thing. I think it's been a very big eye opener for me in a lot of sense, personally, but business wise as well. It's been great,
Now, John, are you looking to introduce third party? Or are you using third party companies for delivery?
We are not, and it's still because we have a lot of regulars. We also have something called a flex membership, which is a bit of a non-traditional membership. We're still a public golf course, So we have a lot of loyalty, a lot of regulars that like to use. So they're calling in orders. But the third party stuff, obviously it's not. We've got the outlet, the restaurant, we've got the halfway house. The way we do our ordering from our golf carts, the idea still is when it starts to snow, a golf course is closed. So since we don't really have that street appeal. We have these lovely 18-foot gates, but it's kind of ominous in the middle of the winter to come through there down a long laneway to come to a 45,000 square foot clubhouse and then try and find where you're going to get your takeout order. So we've stayed away from that, and again, the number of people that you are going to need with the packaging, which Andrew just said, in the wintertime, it's just not feasible for us to do that. We wouldn't get that number of orders. So we're staying traditional with the phone and over our website.
Cool. Yeah, it is. I can see that being a challenge, driving up the gate and going there to grab stuff. So go ahead, Andrew.
Well, no, I'm just thinking as you explain this magical place, and I'm envisioning this long driveway. The caveat with these third-party delivery services that they only go within a certain radius. So you probably shot yourself in the foot where there's already 5 kilometers of just driving down the driveway. So you might be able to service the horses in the field across the street. So perhaps
it's true.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna come back here in a second. We're gonna run a quick commercial for friends at Weston. We've got some great products, and then we're gonna talk a little bit about product solutions, a little bit of Sous Vide, and then we'll wrap it up today. So we'll be back here in a few seconds. We're back. John jumped up there. He is.
Sorry about that.
That's okay. We don't know anything about golf, so we're good.
I don't know anything about technology, so
we're even, John. We're even. So let's talk about products. Let's talk about Sous Vide, because I think this, just going through the pre-production show meetings and stuff with Cardinal and talking about this product, I'm amazed. Like, it's a perfect fit, and really in my mind. So, Andrew, you want to kick us off around this and just talk a little bit around like how do Sous Vide fit golf courses?
Yeah, I mean, I think definitely talking with John the other day, it made total sense why Sous Vide was a perfect fit for golf courses or anything sort of in that same vein of quick serve, get it out quick. And especially when we were talking about that halfway house yesterday, and in terms of sort of space and logistics and speed of getting food out quickly. And it sort of like checks all the boxes of what Sous Vide is. So essentially it is amazing protein that is cooked in bag within its own juices. Has a 30-day shelf life, safe of any pathogens. I mean, food safety, first and foremost, it's there, especially now we're living in a world of COVID where food safety is at the forefront. So to be able to take a product, cut it open and put it into a frying pan, quickly heat it up, and to be able to serve it to your guests, I mean, it's a no-brainer. The piece where I think we talked to John yesterday about, my chefs are now allocated to make sandwiches, and they might feel as though their creativity is stunted. And I was like, yes, but no at the same time, because I was a huge naysayer of that as well. I'm like, well, chefs fundamentally are taught to, create and be, magicians. And if you're giving them a product that's already made and created, are they feeling like they're still, that masterful chef in the kitchen? And with safe sous vide, the neutrality of the meats allows you to be so creative in your kitchen. So, if you choose to go with the just simple safe sous vide pulled pork, which has no added flavor other than just meat cooked in its own juices, then to be able to add your own spice flavors, your own, additions to it, you've allowed your chef to be extremely creative and take that. So there's that flexibility of that. So I think that alone, and the speed and efficiency of the product and having it being shelf stable for 30 days, in John's case, in that halfway house, is kind of a no-brainer. So,
you know what I really like about the safe sous vide products, and I'm trying not to make an infomercial, but is that the even safe sous vide on a menu, right? Like when you add it to a menu application, and the ability to get a lot of good value out of that, because the product speaks for itself. It's a phenomenal product, but the way you position it on the menu and how it elevates your menu or your offerings, or you're able to get a few dollars more for a product, I think is important as a restaurateur, and definitely working in the business, is trying to figure out, what is that trigger word. And safe sous vide, I think, is really elevates your price points on your menu with that product in a place like what John runs. John, would you agree, or what do you think around that?
I 100% agree. The traditional sort of takeout things at a halfway house are the hot dog, hamburger, coffee truck sandwich. And like I said, we've been able to step our game up a little bit with the talent of our chefs. But to be able to offer like the safe sous vide idea, to me is very exciting, just because they can change it up a little bit. The one thing Andrea can maybe speak to this more, is you can get pretty bored doing the same thing all the time. If they have the ability to now look at a line of safer products and mix their own sauces and add their own touch to these proteins, I think it's an absolute no-brainer. I mean, our guys got carried away. I challenged them to do something a little different, and then they started offering a $40 hamburger with a duck egg on it and foie gras poutine, and we actually sold a bunch of them, but they can't do that every day. No. So having the opportunity for these products, I'm really going to take a test, and we're going to bring some into the kitchen and give it a shot.
Well, and I also think with safe sous vide, I mean, Cardinal's producing products that you wouldn't think could be executed so quickly, like the half chicken. And I always go back to the half chicken because it kind of blows my mind. So our half chickens are sous vide in pack. And when I think about what we do at Butchie's for our whole chickens, they come in massive cases, a case of 24. We order 3 cases, so they take it pretty much half in. And, Chris from Cardinal brought in these beautiful half chickens that were vac packed into a small little box, and there was over 30 of them in the box. And I put it into my walk-in, and I was like, how is this absolutely possible that these are cooked? Sealed, opened the bag, roasted in the oven for like 6 minutes, and it came out perfectly. I mean, that kind of speed and that kind of efficiency and consistency, it's very hard to accomplish. And especially for you, John, as well, like in a golf course setting where you have multiple golf courses stretched across, different locations across Ontario or across Canada, to be able to consistently do that same dish over and over again, it becomes a staple at Copper Creek, to be able to then, translate it to all your different golf courses. That consistency is so key, because then your members are like, I love that chicken sandwich that I get at, Copper Creek. I want it at, this location. And then they can get it because of Cardinal, of that consistency in the product. So I think that's helpful as well. Consistency for me, because we're nothing without it. So that's a really big selling factor as well for safe sous vide.
I agree with you. And I won't always have the luxury of having my best guys at the halfway house. So, I mean, some of their apprentices, everybody's at a different level of cooking. So even if an apprentice or somebody who's just starting, we can keep that consistency. So I'm excited that the consistency probably is the most exciting thing to be able to do.
For sure. And definitely like to that for your labor savings as well, right? Like your best chefs are your best chefs, but sometimes it doesn't make business sense to have them standing in the halfway house doing this, right? So, you know, your margins at the end of the day as well. I mean, at the end of the day, we're here to make money and execute a really good product.
That's where that $40 burger came into effect, so I could pay them in the halfway house.
Right.
That's a good idea. Good for them. That idea. That's funny. I do want to just ask you too, John. Do you see the diets in a sense shifting a little bit from your golfers? Are they shifting now? Are they getting a little more sophisticated? They're not looking just for hot dogs and the nachos. Are they getting more sophisticated, I guess, or healthier? What's happening there?
We've tried healthy options. We've offered, unfortunately, because it's such a small space, you can't offer too many items. So you kind of do some tweaks to the staples, which we have done. We get asked for different things. We've tried energy muffins and different things like that, but it still has to be cost effective. I think we've tried pizza, but if you're talking like a salad or a veggie wrap, we might be able to do that. We're starting to get a little bit more. People are more self-conscious for everything these days, and if they can get something, at least one healthy item on our menu that isn't off a grill or deep fried or anything, I think we'd have to test it. So, but I think the chicken sandwich is a great idea. There's like the way it's cooked and it's roasted. I mean, you're not deep frying it or breading it or any of that. So you're cutting a whole bunch of calories. So I think it sounds like there's going to be a few options in there that we might be able to try.
What do you think, Andrea? It's a fit.
I own a meat plus 3 restaurant, and oftentimes people will say, I don't want to go to Butchie's because it's too fatty. Okay, first of all, you make your decision, because we have salmon with green beans and Brussels sprouts, or we could do a half roast chicken with Brussels sprouts and a salad. So that's up to you. I think people tend just to lean towards the, indulgent kind of food. This is just the world we live in. As much as we can offer it, it's always great to offer. But I mean, your numbers are always going to show. I mean, I've been in this business for 20 plus years, and I can offer the most healthiest items. They will always be the lowest selling on the totem pole. That's just the way it is. People like indulgent food. And I think especially when they're sort of active and working out, yes, it should default to eat a salad and eat a wrap. But most of the time, and I would assume that your demographic sways more men. So I can understand why you're sort of more heavy meat, stick to your rib kind of food-based menu item. So it makes sense to have that available. I think is very important. But also with Safe Sous Vide, like a chicken sandwich or fun ways to integrate maybe those indulgent types of food, like a pulled pork, for example, but then sort of interpret it into a more healthier way, a taco or something that's easier to execute can easily be. And then have that same pulled pork, then do double duty or triple duty as a taco, a sandwich, or topping on a salad. Then there you can justify it's just one protein out of the one package of my walk-in, and it's sitting in a crock pot here in the halfway house, and I can use it now for 3 different items.
That's a really good point. And that, I think, John, you're probably looking at products you can use multiple times, right? And I think I think every restaurant or anyone in this industry is looking for that.
Yeah.
That's a great idea.
Awesome.
But doing it in a way that it's not so obvious.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the trick, right? Yeah. Because I've been.
You've got a lot of the people. Sorry.
Yeah. No, go ahead, John.
When you have a lot of the people playing the same, like I said, we have probably 200. We have 200 Flex memberships that get used quite often. So you do have to mix it up for them a lot. So having the specials like you would have in the restaurant, I think it's something that we really got to carry over to the halfway house because, but you're right. It's those more indulgent type things that sell for sure.
Yeah. Well, that's good because I've heard, but I think Andrew, you nailed it as well. Is that we're indulging at this time, and golf, you're probably having a few beers, maybe on the course. You're enjoying yourself. We know what beer and food that works good together. And drinks and stuff, like you're entertaining yourself, right? So a little bit different than you're going there for a workout. Yeah, you're very interesting though. I'm glad you brought that up. It's going to change my topic a little bit for tomorrow. But thanks, John. Anyways, so it's been an absolute pleasure. I'm going to wrap up here. Andrea, always a pleasure seeing you. I can't wait to see you in person soon, hopefully this summer. And John, thanks again for taking the time. We know you're super busy and you're going to be super busy as we open up courses and stuff. And thanks again for taking the time today just to be on the show and talk about your challenges, what you're going through, giving us some insights. It's so valuable for everyone else in the industry to hear from the people in the industry opposed to people that aren't. So awesome. Thanks again, both of you.
This has been fun. Thank you, Jay. Nice meeting you, Andrea. We'll see you soon, hopefully.
I'll see you on the course.
Please. No problem. Book early. We're going to be busy.
I was going to say, I would love to watch your first game there, Andrea. So that'd be.
Listen, I told you I play baseball, so I could hit a golf club.
You'll be good. You'll be fine. You'll be fine.
Awesome.
Bring your bat.
Okay. Like Billy Madison. I got it.
It's awesome. Well, to everyone else, we got a great show tomorrow as well on golf. It's a special edition, so it's an hour and a half long show. We got 10 vendors that are going to show us great ideas when it comes to burgers, beverages, and plant-based options when it comes to golf courses. So hopefully you can join us tomorrow, 11 a.m. Eastern Time, 8 Pacific. I think I said that right. And join us tomorrow. We're live every week. Only food service streaming live weekly show in the industry for Canada. And thanks again, both of you. It's been an absolute pleasure. And we'll see everyone tomorrow. All the best.
Bye, Jay.
See you later.